In part 5 of my Wallabies Fightback series, I'm going to look at how the forwards can set a platform for our attack by getting over the gain line. First up, let's look at some of the forwards' play early on in the second match against the All Blacks. It's scrappy ball from the back of that line out, and so the forwards take it on with a series of pick and drives. There's certainly a place for this pick and drive tactic in the game, particularly early in a match, and particularly if you can keep it going at a reasonable pace. What you don't want to do is end up with slow ball, giving the opposition time to set before you go for your next drive. So whilst there's a place for pick and drive, it's hardly a tactic on which to build your game plan on. The Wallaby scrum's been under pressure in the series against Wales and the first two matches against All Blacks. Here, the tight head side's under pressure again, which turns the scrum and releases the New Zealand back row into defence early. Ioane's strong enough to get the ball over the gain line. On the second phase, the forwards have worked around the corner and given Genia some running options. Quick ball, and into the third phase again the forwards have provided good options and have got the ball over the gain line. Quick ball again, and more forward runners. You can see that they're using a same way pattern, working from one side of the field until they get to the sideline. It's around this time that I think this sequence of plays starts to break down. The ball's getting slower and slower, and the Wallabies are now working in a very narrow channel on the field. That means the All Blacks can put numbers into defence in the breakdown, further slowing the ball down. As I've said, pick and drive has a place in the game, but I think the Wallabies have started to take it a few phases too far this time. They're not making a lot of ground, and I think this was a good opportunity to release the ball wider out to the back line, particularly given that New Zealand have got all of their defence in a very narrow channel as well. But that's not the option the Wallabies take, and to their credit, the All Blacks apply a lot of pressure at the breakdown, and it's a turnover. Let's look in a bit more detail at the early phases of that play, because I think they provide a bit of an answer as to how the Wallaby forwards can establish a platform in attack. Ioane's had to fight hard to retain that ball and get to ground, but you can see the Wallabies have got a lot of numbers into and around that breakdown compared to the All Blacks. I think the forwards need to be more accurate in their work at the breakdown, so we can win the ball without committing so many numbers. On the second phase, the Wallaby forwards offer Genia three options as runners. They secure the ball well at the breakdown and provide quick ball. If we pause the footage there, you can see that the remainder of the Wallaby forwards are doing a good job setting up for the next phase, coming around the corner. They're in motion, which means that the All Black defence has to work from this near side of the ruck to the far side of the ruck, which places a little more pressure on them. As they come around the corner, the Wallaby forwards again offer Genia three running options, and it also means they've got numbers in to secure the breakdown and provide quick ball. Now I'm going to pause the footage at this point so we can look at the shape of the Wallaby attack. The first thing to notice is the number of Wallabies who are now on the far side of the ruck. That's had the effect of dragging All Black defenders onto that side as well, and whilst they've maintained a good defensive line across the field, there is now an opportunity for the ball to be moved back to this near side of the field with the Wallabies back line ready to attack. The purpose of same-way attack like the Wallabies are using here is to achieve exactly this opportunity. Drag all of the players to one touchline and then move the ball back towards the other. Whilst I think the Wallabies took the wrong option where they went with this attack, I think the early phases show that forwards working around the corner in a same-way attack pattern in motion will get them over the gain line and provide the platform we need. Let's have a look at another attack sequence, this time from early on in the first game. On the first phase, Fightback gets the ball over the gain line and provides relatively quick ball at the breakdown. Forwards have worked around the corner, providing Genia with multiple running options, and again, the ball's taken over the gain line. Again, on the third phase, the ball's over the advantage line, but unfortunately the offload goes to ground. Let's look at those plays in a little more detail. When you're running a same-way pattern, you send your forwards around the corner just as the ball becomes available. That forces the defence to adjust late and move their defenders from one side of the ruck to the other. Hopefully, if you catch some stragglers, you might end up with a numerical advantage on the side of the ruck that you've got the ball. What you don't want to do is have your forwards come around the corner too early, or to have them all come around at the same time, because that tells the opposition exactly where the ball's going, and gives them more time to adjust their defence. So the Wallabies didn't do that so well in this phase. However, as the play goes on, you'll see the Wallabies start to readjust and get into a better attack shape, with options on both sides of the ruck, which will force the defence to spread as they defend those options, making it easier to get over the gain line. Realigning quickly with options on both sides of the ruck has got to be an important element of any base attacking plan for the Wallabies. Here's an example from the first match against the All Blacks where the Wallabies show that a very simple, same-way base attacking structure can provide really good dividends. Getting forwards around the corner, providing Genia with running options, doesn't only allow the forwards to get over the gain line, it opens up space for Genia, and as we all know, he's one of the best in the world at taking advantage of that sort of space. On the first phase of that play, Fainga gets the ball over the gain line. You can see that the Wallaby forwards are ready to move from one side of the ruck to the other, but you can also see that the Wallabies have got a little 3-on-2 developing out wide. With a little more vision, that's where I think the ball should have gone on the second phase. Instead, Digby takes it on himself. But from this next breakdown, the Wallabies get reasonably quick ball, and the Wallaby forwards work around the corner nicely, providing Genia with 3 running options. Having those 3 runners in motion coming around the corner attracts the All Black defence, and that's going to open up options for Genia with his great running game. Whilst this same way pattern is very simple, it could be used as the base pattern for the Wallabies forward attack, and as I've shown you in these clips, it can be very effective if everyone's on the same page. The Wallabies are using this pattern from time to time, but I think they need to use it more and eliminate a lot of the slow ball pattern they've been running.